Life is a never-ending process of self-improvement. While some of our concentration is on improving our education or climbing the corporate ladder, we sometimes neglect to improve how we treat ourselves and the people around us. In the race to succeed, the concept of better can be forgotten in the midst of ambition and greed. Here is where you begin your path to bettering your spirit and developing compassion for yourself and others. Recognize that this is a procedure. Accept that becoming a better person is a process that will take the rest of your life, and that it will take a long time. There is no one point at which you will have it all figured out and have no space for improvement. Allowing oneself to be open to the process of change and growth aids in the development of flexibility, which is essential for constantly becoming the sort of person you want to be in any setting. Accept the fact that your objectives and ideals may shift over time. They may also alter depending on the scenario. This is very normal. Decide on your values. Even the finest intentions are unlikely to succeed unless you have a firm grasp on your core principles. Values are the things that are most important to you in life. They are the fundamental ideas that define who you are and how you spend your life. Reflecting on your values will assist you in determining what matters most to you. Being a good father or spending time with friends, for example, may be valued. These are the elements that help you define your ideal self. Value congruence refers to how well your actions match your values. For example, if one of your values is spending time with friends, but you constantly choose work above socializing, you are not value congruent. You may feel unsatisfied, sad, or guilty if you engage in non-value congruent behavior. Examine your perceptions about yourself. Those who surround us also have an impact on our identities. Psychological studies, for example, have frequently proved that people develop bias at a young age. These taught actions and ideas have an impact on how we see ourselves and others. Understanding where you get your thoughts about yourself might help you change the ones that aren't serving you and appreciate the ones that do. We also learn how to think about ourselves in terms of bigger categories, such as race or gender, from others. These can be crucial aspects of our individual identities. Examine your actions in detail and honestly. Consider how you handle stress, grief, and rage, as well as how you treat your loved ones. Before you can comprehend how to grow, you must first understand how you are today. You should have a clear notion of the exact improvements you'd like to make once you pondered on your conduct. Make a list of the changes you wish to see. Make every effort to be as descriptive as possible. Break it down into components rather than declaring "I'd like to be a better buddy." What exactly do you mean? Do you imply that you should reach out to people more frequently? Do you imply that you'll make yourself accessible to spend time with us? Steve Jobs, the inventor and entrepreneur, famously claimed that he asked himself this question every morning: would I want to do what I'm going to accomplish today if today were the final day of my life? He decided to make adjustments if he could respond yes. This is a question that you might want to ask as well. Maintain a rational mindset when it comes to change. If you're naturally introverted, for example, defining be a better person as go out to parties may not be productive or value congruent. Instead, frame your shift as something that you can do and that is consistent with who you are. Practice saying hello to new individuals. Make a list of your objectives. Write them down on a piece of paper if it helps. Or better yet, start a diary. This will help you to get into your introspective side and gain a more objective understanding of yourself. Journaling should be a contemplative and active practice. It's unlikely that jotting down random thoughts will be of any use. Instead, write about the scenarios you face, how they made you feel at the time, how you behaved, how you felt later, and what you believe you might have done differently. To get you started, consider the following questions. Is there a relationship with a loved one that you'd like to strengthen? Do you want to become a better philanthropist? Do you want to make a bigger difference for the environment? Do you wish to improve your skills as a spouse or partner? Positively frame your objectives. According to research, framing your objectives as positive, something you will do rather than negative, something you won't do increases your chances of success. Something you will stop doing. If you frame your objectives as negatives, you may become critical of yourself or feel guilty about your success. Consider your objectives as something you're pursuing rather than something you're avoiding. If you want to be more appreciative, for example, phrase it positively. I want to convey my thanks to individuals who are good to me. Avoid using phrases like I want to quit being so ungrateful or I want to stop being so ungrateful. Look for role model. Role models may be a fantastic source of inspiration, and their tales can motivate us when things become rough. You may pick a religious person, a politician, or an artist, or someone close to you who you like. Using individuals we know as role models is often more beneficial. It's easy to build a false impression of someone with whom you have no interaction if you simply model your conduct on them. This might lead to negative thoughts about yourself. After all, even Beyonce isn't without flaws. It is not necessary for role models to be world changers. Although Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa are inspirational characters, they aren't the only ones whose actions you might emulate. Small, ordinary habits and ways of thinking are frequently the most instructive. So, If one of your employees appears to be cheery all of the time, inquire as to why. Inquire about her outlook on life. Inquire about her occupation. You'd be shocked what you can find out if you just ask. That isn't to imply that you can't get ideas from other people's experiences. Finding someone with a similar narrative to your own might be beneficial, especially if you don't have many role models in your life. Neil Tyson, an eminent astrophysicist, challenges the traditional notion of role models as somebody you aspire to be. Instead, he recommends that you look into how those folks got to where they are now. What kind of novels do they like to read? What pathways did they decide to take? How do people get to where you wish to go in the first place? Instead of attempting to duplicate someone else's route, you might ask these questions and uncover the answers to help you construct your own.